Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new and a better Rich Honda in the game right now, and it's Yakuza Guy. He's the best option for you right now. If you're free to play and low spender, you can build him. If you're a whale, you can put him instead of Rich Honda as well, and he will do the same functionality and even more. And I'll be talking about that and explaining everything when we go and explain his kit. I just want to mention for you that this is the best thing that the game did, or the devs did, or the whatever who was in charge of this did to give us this unit as broken as it can be. Okay, so let's go. I have some tickets here. I want to blow them up and hopefully get one copy of him. And we didn't, of course. I'm so optimistic. I'm so stupid. Anyway, let's do this. Okay, let's go to the gallery and check this abomination of a support unit. So, Action Guy, or Yakuza Guy in other versions. So, Action Guy. Let's talk about him. First of all, he's a support. And his agility. He has a lot of dodge. This is something super important that you need to understand in this game. Dodge is really important. Plus he has good crit rate, good attack, because he's an agility character, which mainly the carries and the supports have these kind of functions. So we'll start with his passive, and I'll read his passive. I'll show you where some of the points that you didn't understand, and now it will make sense to you, okay? So his passive, Phantom Wind, which is his best ability, one of the best abilities in the game actually, besides his C2, and then we'll talk about his super. If this fighter's super combo is unleashed, but it does not result in any kills, so in bosses, let's talk in bosses, he doesn't do any kill, So, the fighter will enter the Phantom Ready state. Perfect. What is the random state? If this fighter is in the Phantom Ready state, because he didn't do any kills, when a friendly fighter unleashes a super combo after him, they do another super combo, he will go, Phantom Ready will be expended and Phantom Double will be activated. So the way that you play him is use his super, then use somebody else super, use his super, somebody else super, and you can do that all the time. And this is not a downfall of him, this is actually good. We'll be talking about that. Phantom Ready will be expanded and Phantom Double will be activated. After activating Phantom Double, that's at level 2. Forget about it, we talk about level 4. After activating Phantom Double, this fighter can ignore 25% of enemy's defense, which is really good for a support, so he will dish out more damage and gain 25% more dodge for 6 seconds. On top, if you max his gears, you're gonna get 100% dodge rate, and you're gonna get these 25% dodge rate above. So if the enemy has pressure, he will have excess dodge, so he can dodge even more, which is really huge. Now we'll talk about his super, the Extreme Legend. Strike the nearest enemy 6 times consecutively, dealing damage that is equal to 636%. That's huge actually for a support of attack in total, with a 20% chance of interrupting the target for the first time. If in PvP or in the campaign in towers, if you use him, the normal guy interrupts the backline, the first character. He does interrupt the nearest character. It means if a carry jumps in the front to attack, he can interrupt them, or if a tank, you want to interrupt them, he can interrupt them as well. So at level 2, if this fighter has less than 40% HP, this skill damage will be increased by 40%. So when you multiply the 636% by 40%, increases the damage to 700% almost of attack. If this fighter has less than 50% HP, this skill will be increased by 40%. Now you tell me, oh, so we need him less than 50% so he can get this. If he did get this, we'll talk about his exclusive, which will heal him back actually, and he will regain his health. And you can play a healer with him on the lineup, it doesn't matter. This is not the biggest part of his kit, but it's okay, it's really nice actually to help you out with some damages on your lineup. So let's talk about his main skill that you need to use always, which is his C2. His C2, the Bushin. Okay, kick the nearest enemy 4 times consecutively, dealing damage that is equal to 500% almost of attack in total, and increasing the damage of the next skill combo chain by 20%. Now this is what normal guy does actually, the same thing he does it also. If Phantom Double is active, the final strike will reduce the target's damage reduction by 15% for 12 seconds. Now we talk about it goes up more than 15%. Now, as I said in my previous videos, of videos, I was talking about damage reduction for the bosses. If you reduce their damage reduction, it means the damage that is... so they have damage reduction that if you hit them, they reduces the damage that they take from you, so you do less damage. Somebody was talking on Discord and asking me about that. It was a funny interaction actually. So the damage reduction for the bosses, if you reduce it more, it means you do more damage. And this is what makes Rich Honda actually broken. Plus the life link, of course, but the life link need 2 units on the same lineup, so they will take or share the damage that they take. But specifically talking about only one character or one boss that you're fighting, the more that you decrease their damage reduction, the more that they take damage, which is the most huge thing in the game. And if you can get it to 40%, 40% is the breakpoint. If you can hit the 40%, it means you can deal so much damage with your other characters like Fire Adon. This is what Rich Honda does, and this is why Fire Adon deal a lot of damage actually. Or we tried it before Fire Adon, we were using it with Dawson and he deals insane amount of damage. So, damage reduction for 12 seconds. Stacks up 3 times. So 3 times, 15%, 3 times. It means 45%. I said 40% to get the same numbers, or 45% actually, to get the same numbers as Rich Honda. So here we go, 45%. This cannot be dispelled. It can't be dispelled by any means, which is absolutely insane. After unleashing this skill, Phantom Double will be expended. So yes, there's a couple of rotations. He's a manual game type unit that you need to play, and I'll be talking about that also. So increases the damage of the next skill unleashed by another friendly fighter by 30%. Perfect. Now he doesn't buff only for 20% by 30%, which is absolutely huge. Something that Rich Honda doesn't do is buff your team. He defensively buff your teams. He protects your teams. But this guy buffs them indefinitely, buffs their damages and debuff the boss so you deal even more damage, and he does even more damage than Rich Honda himself. So at level 3, if Phantom Double is active, the final strike will reduce the target's crit resistance rate by 10% for 12 seconds, stacks up 3 times. Again, this is massive and huge. We didn't see a lot of units that reduces the crit resistance of the bosses. This is new. So we had units that removes or reduces damage reduction for the bosses, which is massive for the game. Now it reduces them resisting crit, so you don't need buffing for crit rate that much on your lineup. You don't care about it that much, because the more you reduce the crit resistance of the unit, the enemy, the more that your crit percentage is valid on your characters. So if you have 100% crit rate, but the boss has 30% crit resistance, you'll deal 70% crit rate, which is 7 out of 10 times you're gonna crit. But if you remove this 30% from them, you're gonna stay at 100% on your crit rate, then you will crit 10 out of 10 times versus the boss. It's inevitable, which is absolutely huge. The 2 combo of what he's doing here, damage reduction and crit resistance, is massive. You don't understand how good it is. Rich Honda is second to him now. Do you understand what happened to the game? I don't think I don't know if the devs intended to give us him like this, or it's just a mistake, or they trashed whatever idea, or it's a desperate, I don't know, attempt to keep the player base like happy with the game. Because I don't understand how they didn't make him Inferno or Master or Special or Legendary. This is broken. He's absolutely busted, completely broken by his C2 and his cars and his exclusive. I'm gonna go read them. Let's read his C3. His C3 is absolutely, do not use it under any kind of circumstances unless if your entire team and you don't have a C3 and you need to use it. So, strike the furthest enemy 3 times, then leap into the air, perform a downward kick, dealing damage that is equal to 800% of attack in total. The final strike inflicts 1 armor break on the target. Also, nobody cares about this. Increase the damage to 880% of attack. That's really nice if you lost your character that is dealing the most damage, so he can hit at least in a good way. Each strike has a 25% of armor break, and you know armor break reduces your damage, your defenses, which is really good. So his fighting spirit. So basically, first of all, his stats, absolutely insane. His stats also 18% in HP, great. In attack bonus, that's perfect as well. And defense, it means he successfully will be a little bit defensively capable to defend himself and stay alive. Damage reduction, 6%. Now this is damage reduction. It's not for the boss. This damage reduction or the enemies, it's for him. He reduces the damage taken to him by 6%, which is absolutely good. Now his skill, Shadow Step. Upon activating Phantom Double, this fighter will recover 10% of max HP. You will always activate Phantom Double because this is the rotation you're gonna do. So it will always, by every rotation, you're gonna get a 10% heal back. So this is where the 50%, when it's lost from him, or goes below 50%, you will activate something. Now, if you didn't lose the HP, you will not activate anything. You don't care about that, or the damages from that, or the ignoring of the defense. What you care about is the debuff that he inflicts on the boss. The crit resistance, the negative crit resistance, and the damage reduction negativity that you apply on the boss. Now his assist is also decent. So when the assisted fighter has unleashed a super combo, this combo damage will be increased by 10% until the end of the battle. Stacks up to 3 times. So he buffs, if he's assisting somebody, he will buff them to 30% in damage. Not only in attack, but in damage. Did they say damage? Yeah, their combo damage will be increased by 10%. And then it stacks up to 3 times, it means 30% damage buff, not attack buff, because there's something called reducing attack, or reducing, there's damage reduction and there's attack reduction. This one will not affect you the most because it's skill. So attacks or auto attack can be dodged, can be hit. Sometimes there's attacks that are must hit, will never miss, and that's what you want, that the combo hit. This is why it's important. He's a great buffer as an assist as well. So the plus 10. Upon activating Phantom Double, the attack of all friendly fighters will be increased by 10% until the end of the battle, stacks up to 30%. He will buff your entire team by 30%, something that Rich Honda doesn't do. He does everything that Rich Honda does, except the link and the defensive capabilities, but he buffs you by 30%. You don't need another buffer. Now, if you stack another buffer on him with the team, like if you play a trigger unit, something like Irayu on your team, and you play him, and you play Fire Adon and Athlete or Flame Chun-Li, oh my god, this lineup would be crazy. It will be crazy. And now you can also play Rich Honda with him and do stacking up with the damage reduction. 45% from him, 45% from that, and that you're gonna get almost 100% damage reduction. Now, I didn't test that. We tested him maxed on his own, and versus a Rich Honda team and versus him on another team. His numbers were better with the same lineup with Fire Adon, which is absolutely blew my mind actually. There's a lot of possibilities and synergies with this. His best thing here is his plus 20. Enter the Phantom Ready state at the start of the battle. The Phantom Ready state. So you will immediately start your super combo. If you use the Cammy and Vega EX with somebody else, he will immediately go into Phantom Double, which is absolutely insane. So you immediately start getting all the kind of buffs from him. Plus 30, upon activating Phantom Double, which will happen immediately at the start of the battle. So you're gonna go Cammy and Vega, make your combo meter go big, and start with another unit with a super. He didn't kill any unit, and he's in the Phantom Ready state, so he will go into Phantom Double. So immediately your Phantom Double will be hit from the first combo. His C2 will be unleashed once this is considered a trigger skill. So you will have it again. So he will not only just do it again, because you will press his C2 after that. So he will do a trigger of his C2, then you will press his C2 again. You have a double C2 right from the start of the battle. Absolutely huge. I don't know what the devs were thinking. This is the most broken support in the game right now. He is the most broken support in the game. You can go and test it. You can disagree. You can agree. Whatever you want. Just tell me in the comments, okay? So, his cards. After expending Phantom Double, the fighter will gain 100 combo gauge. So, just like Rich Honda, he gains combo gauge. And this is not only one time. It's every time he expends the Phantom Double, which means with every rotation you can do that. He will gain 100 super combo gauge, which is absolutely great. It means it will stay consistent for you keeping these damages, because you will sustain some combo meter on top of what you were gonna play any unit that will give you more combo meters. Absolutely magnificent. His 6 out of 6. After expending Phantom Double, this fighter will enter Phantom Ready state on his own. The 6 out of 6, and here where I'm telling you, you don't even need to use his super anymore because of his fighting spirit and his 6 out of 6. So after expending Phantom Double, he will immediately enter Phantom Double at the start of the battle. Get him to plus 30 or plus 20 and then plus 30. And if you have 6 out of 6, you just go and do the combos, because he will enter the Phantom Ready state after expanding Phantom Double. So you start Phantom Ready, use Phantom Double. You need to start with him again, so he gets into another Phantom Ready state. But this time with 6 out of 6, you don't need to click his super anymore. Not anymore. You're just gonna go rinse and repeat the normal combos that you do every single freaking time. Absolutely crazy. So now, what does this mean? This means you can play Visconti Vega and Fire Adon on the same lineup, and he will be your C2 on the lineup. So you start with Visconti Vega, you hit a C1 with Street Poison, you hit a C2 with him, and you hit a C3 with Fire Adon. Now, of course, you can play Athlete Chun-Li or Flame Chun-Li, sorry for that. You can play Flame Chun-Li, of course, and keep the same lineup that you want and play Rich Honda. So you start with Rich Honda, Street Poison, Fire, or him, or Flame Chun, whatever you want to pick, and Fire Adon. But if you play Rich Honda and him on the same lineup, the damages will grow more. I didn't test that, them both together with the same lineup. This unit is crazy broken. Just go test him. Don't trust my words. Go test him. Say, what's Pika talking about? This is the new best unit in the entire game. I like Action Guy. He's the best character in the game right now. He's the most broken character in the game. As a support that can deal a little bit of damage, as a buffer, and as a debuffer on the bosses. That's what we needed. More characters just like this, accessible as free to play. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight.